again. I should stop saying that because we're always back. Which
again.
Yeah, I
But
don't know why I say it. I think it's because we take breaks every once in a while. It just gets in my head. But I'm here with Jordan and Stefan. We have two guests tonight. The returning two. Still no Jay at the moment. He might join in at some point, or he might join in the chat at some point. I'm not too sure. It depends what
Hopefully
he's
not.
doing. We unfortunately summoned a demon and lost him in the void somewhere, so he might
Which
appear
wasn't
back.
at all a plan.
Yeah, it wasn't at
nothing-
all a plot by us to get rid of the little halfling.
Oh, that could be horrible there.
I mean, we always are horrible. It's Jay, so.
No, I'll not be as nasty as I was going to be.
Are you
He's
sure?
not here to defend us. Yeah, I was going to call him the little halfway.
I was just about to say, when's that ever stop you, Steph?
I'm
Yeah,
being
he's not-
nice. Do you know
He's
what?
not
No,
here to
right.
defend himself.
Before we go on, right? I've got. Okay, do you want to know what we're going to do today?
Come on, then.
We always come on here and we'll rant and rave and we'll pick on the French, and you know we're
Rightfully
generally
so.
we're nasty and we're frustrated about people and we call out all the idiocy in the world and then roast it. Yes.
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 Today we should try and be positive. We should try and be nice. Whatever is said, whatever happens, we're just going to try and find the nice in it. We're going to try and find the good in the world. Okay.
Bit
We're going to
hard.
do the opposite of what we always do.
I mean, I can immediately throw that in the dumps with my first topic, so.
Oh, for fuck's sake. No, we're going to find the positive in it, Kyle.
Okay, I mean, there is a positive in this. It's very intelligent. It's very fantastic and brilliant.
See, you've been positive already.
Right, so this is to do with the title. I'm saying bring back the past because I think this is what we should do nowadays. Okay. During the 1720 financial crisis, British Parliament
There was
debated a resolution. Can you think of what the resolution is?
Commit genocide.
This is British Parliament, yeah, extra tax.
British Parliament. It wasn't extra tax. It wasn't genocide, technically.
Technically,
All right, so starve everyone out.
No,
deport everyone in Australia.
it's more creative.
No, that
than
was earlier in the 1800s. They started at the 1600s to get a head start.
Yeah. No, it's more convoluted than any of them.
More convoluted.
Yeah. It involves sacks.
Ooh, everyone gets one sack to put any stuff in that you want to keep. Everything else gets sold to raise money.
That would have been intelligent. No.
Or being intelligent, but this is the British government.
Exactly.
Not intelligent, but you know. Sacks.
It would if you only applied the rule to the politicians.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Hmm.
For a financial crisis, sack race.
No. Right, I'll put you out your misery. So during the 1720
miserable.
financial crisis, British Parliament debated a resolution for bankers to be sewn into sacks with snakes and dumped into the River Thames.
So genocide.
That is progress. Who the
They
bank?
de-
They want to do that at bankers.
They debated whether or not to put bankers, which they believed was the cause of the financial crisis,
not politicians.
into sacks with snakes, sew it up, and then throw them in the river.
I would vote for yes,
Yes.
but only if you replace bankers with
Yes.
fucking wanker bankers.
I would put both in.
I mean,
It'd be nasty.
I feel like even just putting Boris in would be a win.
Go, you were just going to call him Bollocks Johnson there
I was.
because that's all he ever talks.
Yeah, I was. Bollocks Johnson. Yeah.
I caught that one.
I tried to save it,
No.
but my brain just couldn't be bothered.
No.
Put him in Jacob Rees-Mogg.
Yes.
Jacob Rees-Mogg.
It seems like he.
What we need is a government that is actually for the people by making it with people who've actually done a day's work in their life in it.
Nah, you got to go to university,
yeah.
and you got to go to university for 10 years, learn how to pig's mouth, and then lie about it on television to try and get away with it. And then if you successfully do that, you can become a politician in England. Not
Or
speaking
if you successfully
for other
start a
countries.
war and then blame someone else.
Or get a wife that's richer than you.
Or get half the country pregnant and then pretend you don't understand what day of the week
But
Tuesday is.
Honestly, politicians are like fucking Looney Tunes. This is
In
the thing.
this country, yeah.
I'm pretty sure we live in one of those dysmorphia realities that, like a dystopia reality that in the 60s and 70s, people would have just imagined in comics. Like,
Yeah.
can you ever imagine someone, like, who would have imagined there will be a worldwide pandemic and everybody would just go, meh, but I still want to go to the pub?
In the UK,
when it was open,
everyone.
Is the pub open? No, it's closed this week. Damn it! Let's go to the shop.
Riots. Hey. At least we can't say avoid something like the plague, because we all know we don't.
Yeah, we don't avoid the
We'll
plague
fucking
anymore.
go towards it now.
Well, we've got another 2 years. It's been 2 years of it.
I still want to get a plague mask. A plague doctor mask.
I still want to complete Guy Fawkes' good work.
Yeah, full attire.
I had to laugh the day North Korea actually for once said they lied by going they had their first COVID death. That's impossible.
Hold on. Whoa. You just said North Korea for once lied.
No, wait. Tried to tell the truth, but they were lying because they said it was their first COVID death today.
Because everyone else was executed before they died of COVID.
Did they not say it was the first COVID death this year or something?
No, their first ever COVID death.
I mean, it goes with the old saying, if you're going to talk bollocks, you might as well make it legendary.
Yeah.
You might as well talk full bollocks. You might as well go for the fucking sky. Shoot for the sky if you're going to lie.
Why?
Right. I have an interesting one for Stefan. This definitely has a plus.
Yes.
Right. You know how chickens are descended from dinosaurs?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
According to some theories, they're descended from dinosaurs. Same as alligators and all that sort of shit. Just birds in general.
Yeah.
If you bred aggressive chickens over centuries to always be the apex predator in their environment, would they slowly evolve back into the T-Rex?
That's not how evolution works.
That would be devolution.
What's the thing? Can you, under certain conditions, force something to devolve back to its base state?
I would. There's so much wrong with it.
I know there's so much wrong with this. This is exactly why I chose it, because I knew there was so much wrong with it, and I couldn't resist chucking it in for you.
Theoretically, yes. Because you say we developed opposable thumbs because they are useful to us and we need them. Become useful, then we would defer to not having opposable thumbs after a long enough time. So given long enough, theoretically, yes, but it doesn't mean, you'd have to be able to manipulate it so particularly that it's the exact opposite at the right time. Because if you're yeah, okay.
I do know what you mean. If you try to forcefully devolve a creature, even if you missed it by like one tiny millisecond detail, chances are it's gonna evolve in a completely different way and have some sort of different trait. Like the T-Rex is gonna have a chicken beak instead of a fucking maw or something.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I do get what you mean, or you might end up just evolving raptors instead.
Which isn't a total loss.
It isn't. Did you know that the skeleton that is the base of the raptors from the original Jurassic Park film got sold?
Who would?
I don't know. I didn't read that far in, but I think it sold for like 150 million or something.
Commit to your research, man.
This was just a random thing that I saw and didn't pay too much attention because I was half asleep at the time.
I demand to know. If you find someone bought a raptor, I demand to know who. You read that.
Right, okay.
Research
Skeleton
it
of
now.
dinosaur that inspired the raptor sells for 12.4 million.
And this isn't an actual dinosaur skeleton. Let's just be clear, is it? It's a prop, if you like.
No, this is the extremely rare actual 110 million year old skeleton.
Okay, so I was gonna say that is idiotic, but yeah, okay, I'm on board with this.
Yeah, it is the 110 million year old skeleton of apex predator Deinonychus antilophopsis. The fuck is that? It was unearthed in Wolf Canyon, Montana, between 2012 and 2014, and the complete skeleton was sold for $12.4 million at a world first auction, because apparently museums had no use for it anymore.
And it was called Hector.
Hector Bellerin.
Like there was a T-Rex one sold, and it was called Stan.
Yep. They choose
Sterling.
fantastic names. It is us naming them. What shall we call this massive, dangerous predator? Hector.
Bob.
What shall we call this bigger, dangerous predator? Stan. Stan the man.
With a plan.
It doesn't actually say who bought it.
Apparently, it stands at 4 foot tall and 10 foot long.
It stands.
Yeah, it stands. It's legitimately, it's one of those things where they've put the skeleton on metal wire, so it stands. It's like propped up, like the T-Rex things that you see in museums and stuff. So it
doesn't
legitimately stands and looks at you.
It's the joke.
Fuck off.
Because you talked about Stan, and then you said he stands.
La.
Pardon me. Sorry about that.
Yeah, it was done by an anonymous buyer.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I
Oh,
suppose
no.
it would be anonymous. You
Sorry.
wouldn't want someone to come and nick your Velociraptor skeleton.
Yeah, exactly. Apparently, when the Jurassic Park writer saw the thing, they believed the creature's true name was not dramatic enough because no one would be able to understand it. Deinonychus antilophus, so they changed it to Velociraptor.
Yeah.
I want to know where they got the words Velociraptor from them.
I'm sure you could Google it. Well, it's a raptor. It's a species of raptor, isn't it? That's the base of
Yes,
the
but
raptor.
Jordan, mute your mic, please, because that's a lot of noise. Cheers, buddy.
Jordan. You just call him Woody.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, Woody. Anyway, what would it?
I'm now looking at the Velociraptor to see where the fuck the name came from.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I love the fact that the Natural History Museum thing has a... Like, you know how you get a... This is how you pronounce a word. It's got Vel-os E-Raptor.
That is exactly how you do it.
Which apparently means quick plunderer.
Oh, well, there you go then. You answer your own question.
As portrayed in Jurassic Park movies, Velociraptor was recreated at twice its actual size and closely modelled on Deinonychus. Though this was seen as unscientific at the time, soon after the film was released, a dinosaur of the same type, Utahraptor, was discovered even larger than the virtual Velociraptors.
Kyle.
It is now thought to have had a feather-like covering.
I love it when we get to the part of the show where we go, Kyle,
Yes.
pronounce these Latin words.
Yes. Thanks.
You're fine with most of the languages, but Latin, nah.
Are you ready? Taxonomic details, right? Taxonomy.
Yeah.
Dinosauria, Saurischia, Theoropta, Neothauropoda, Tetanurae, Avethoropada, Coleosaura, Tyrannoraptora, Maniraptoriformis, Maniraptora, Paraves, Humaniraptora, and Dromaeosauridae, named by Osborne, 1924. Osborne, go fuck yourself for those names.
Ozzy Osbourne.
I don't know. It just says Osborne, but
He
there's a
would
picture
definitely
of
have been
there's
high
a
in
picture of
1984.
there's a picture of a Velociraptor that looks like it's got a fucking mullet from the 60s. So you know,
Was Rod Stewart?
it's known as a small theropod. I love the fact it's quick plunderer just because it steals everything. Oh, it's got furry boots. Look at its way boots.
Does that mean if
It's got
someone's like a
furry
cat
boots.
burglar and they're really good and they're really quick in and out, they're technically a velociraptor?
Yeah. I would be amazed if there's not been a burglar in the world that hasn't been nicknamed the Velociraptor.
I'm pretty sure there aren't because not many burglars speak Latin.
Oh, in a game. I mean, if I'm assuming there's some sort of game character that's been called Velociraptor, and not just a Velociraptor in a game that's been called its actual name.
Probably. I don't know which side of the fence I sit on here.
You have to pick a
Nah.
side. You can't just sit on the fence. You'll get so lost.
Because it would be so niche because you would have to know that velociraptor means. What is it? Tiny burglar.
Quick plunderer.
That's the one. You'd have to know that that's what that means, and you just told me and I forgot. So what's the odds of most people knowing it?
You forgot. Me forgot, man.
English.
English. No good
I
English.
wonder what the Latin for... What did I say? Tiny burglar? I wonder what the Latin for that is.
What's the
Maybe we
Latin
can
for
name it
tiny
then.
burglar?
We'll
Latin
discover a
for
small
tiny
dinosaur and...
burglar. Hoopto minimia.
From now on, the fucking velociraptor shall be known as the Hoopto minimia.
Ruptor. R-U-P-T-O-R. It's basically raptor, but with a U instead of an A.
Ruptor.
Ruptor minima.
Ruptor minima.
Rubber.
What?
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 What time is it?
Well, half it.
It's Chico time.
No, right, okay, I'm leaving. That's it. That's done it for us.
If anybody gets that, you're of our generation
No.
or older.
So, Stephanie, you're leaving before your internet kicks you.
That also might happen, so let's not rule that out.
Yeah, let's not rule it out completely. It will happen eventually at some point in time.
Kyle has
Hey.
better internet than me. That's how bad my internet's gone.
Oh,
My
God.
internet's managed to recover, but that's because I've got a booster box sitting right there about 10 foot away from us.
That's
Hey.
cheating.
Right. I found a place where I can do research and things. It's fantastic.
God.
You
A,
know how,
a laboratory.
well,
Dexter's
yes, but
Lab.
you know how films, TV, games, all that sort of stuff, a lot of the times they'll in sci-fi and things like that, they'll just shove the word quantum or some shitty thing in front of something to make it sound more sci-fi and more scientific and stuff. Like, oh no, it's a quantum anomaly. Means absolutely fuck all when you actually look into it.
Yes.
That sort of thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, apparently, all they need to do is talk to the National Academy of Sciences, because it provides a free science hotline. I've never thought I was going to say the words science hotline, but apparently there is one.
Okay.
It was made to encourage filmmakers to use more scientifically accurate terminology and processes in movies. The service is free to both professional and amateur films, TV, and video game projects. So you just contact them, ask them like, how would this be done, or what would be the equation for this, that sort of thing. And it's sort of like how you can crowdsource information and say like, look, how would this be done? And you can get people from all over the internet to say, look, okay, here you go. I think that's how the writer of The Martian did it. But
Yeah.
apparently you can just go to this hotline, and they'll just sit there and try and work it out for you and figure it out. So you don't just sit there going, "Oh yes, it was a quantum event."
Okay.
It's great. I love it. How are you not excited by this? There's a
No,
hotline
that
where you
is
can go
genuine.
and
That's genuinely quite impressive. That is genuinely quite good.
It's the Science and Entertainment Exchange, and it's a program by the National Academy of Sciences, and it's meant to connect the industries of science and entertainment.
Yeah, is it?
Yes. It's the goal of the exchange is to use the vehicle of popular entertainment media to deliver sometimes subtle but nonetheless powerful messages about science.
Subtle but powerful messages.
In other words, they're going to hypnotize with.
Mind control, I was going to say. It's mind control. So that's the goal, is mind control, is it?
Yeah. Apparently chartered by, well, it's American, so I don't know how accurate it's going to be. Apparently it was chartered by Congress in 1863 under an act signed by Abe Lincoln to provide scientific advice to the nation. The National Academy of Sciences, which is a private non-for-profit institution, is uniquely uniquely positioned to draw on the expertise of thousands of men and women who have distinguished themselves in their fields. The
Yeah.
exchange can quickly and easily identify and contact the ideal expert for each consultation.
It is quite good, I suppose.
It is. It means if you ever so anybody who's an amateur writer or anything like that, if you've got something where you're sitting there going, would this be possible, or how would they do this if you're doing like a sci-fi novel like Space or something, you can call up this hotline, or I think you can contact them on email and stuff. Contact them, and they can send you the signs. They can send you what would be possible, what wouldn't be possible, and you can actually see whether or not your plot line makes sense, or if it would be legitimately implausible, impossible in the real world. Which
So,
doesn't matter so
I-
much for sci-fi, but when you're doing something like The Martian or Gravity or something, it's a bit more important.
I was going to say that's just people are still going to do it. It's just that they're going to have to put it down as fiction instead of non-fiction.
Yeah,
'Cause
exactly.
it could be non-fiction if it was plausible.
Well, this is the thing. It sort of depends on what you're writing, because, like we all know, you're not exactly going to apply standard laws of physics to a vehicle in Star Wars, because we don't know how those engines work, or all that sort of thing. But we do know that some of the technology is in real life now, and it is physically possible. But a lot of it is just, look, this thing works, deal with it. Same with Star Trek. A lot of the things in Star Trek, it's, look, this thing works. Here's our explanation for why it works. But it might be complete and utter bollocks.
Yeah.
But then you'll have things like you'll have actual scientifically accurate shows and programs based on Apollo or something like that, where it needs to be more detailed. It needs to have all the correct science figures and formulas and all that sort of shit.
Yeah.
And yes, I know I sound highly professional by saying and all that sort of shit at the end of a highly professional sentence.
And we're used to it.
It's my default.
Oh yeah, well.
I feel
No,
like if you put me in a, I have in fact done that with the lead of my workplace. Like, I'm pretty sure the head teacher at my school has heard me explain something to someone and then ended with, and that's shite. Just highly technical explanation, finish with shite.
and all that sort of shite.
Yeah.
And all that shit.
Look at all those chickens.
Look at all those wankers. Oh no, they're just Americans.
Oh, Kyle.
I could not resist.
Or French.
There we go.
No, positive. We're being positive.
Okay, I will be positive. I am positively pissed off at the fact of what the fuck is my hair doing. Right.
Why is that your concern?
Right, I am being positive. Right.
Yes.
Here we go. There are candles which are an emergency breathable source of air.
So the burn carbon dioxide give off oxygen?
Yes.
Or are they plants? Because it works better if you don't burn them.
They are indeed. These are oxygen candles. They're used as a backup source of breathable air in emergency. In addition, they supply an on-demand source of oxygen utilized in airplanes, space stations, and other applications such as safe havens and refuge chambers. A safe supply of oxygen is critical to support life. We are dependent on it.
Kyle can't speak tonight.
Right. Okay.
You can do it, Kyle.
Sorry, I'm just making sure that
do it.
the fuck is going on is here. The candle supplied by the systems burns for approximately 60 to 90 minutes, producing 2,600 L of oxygen. I'm assuming that's liters.
Yeah,
Although
yes.
it's. I'm never too sure with air because air is a bit difficult to measure.
Yeah, you still measure liters.
This amount can provide approximately 20 hours of breathable air for 4 people. An
feet.
oxygen 4 feet, yes, 4 feet. An oxygen candle
Pitos.
cannot have its oxygen production regulated or halted once ignited. It just simply produces oxygen at a rate of approximately 28 liters per minute until it is exhausted. And this is because it's got fucking iron powder in it that makes it burn at a temperature of around 600 degrees.
Well, some people like oxygen warm, Kyle.
The initial energy required to start the reaction occurs when a specific inflation mechanism, a brass starter, ignites the iron powder.
So it's like a flintlock pistol.
It's like a flintlock pistol, but it gives you oxygen instead of death.
So it's the opposite of a flintlock pistol.
Yeah. It's a life candle.
I prefer flintlock pistol.
I prefer a flintlock pistol, but these seem, and a flintlock pistol is reusable. But these seem quite good, man.
So did America. Look how that turned out.
Stefan, we're being positive.
Oh yeah, it's different when I do it.
Right, are you ready for the risks associated with it?
Is it the fact that you can breathe in iron filings and die?
Possibly. There's that one. There's also oversaturation and fire hazards.
Can you say that again, but a bit more cheerfully? There's that one.
There's that one. Oversaturation and fire hazards are the two notable risks. The candles can enter a state of elevated oxygen, maximum of 32%, classified as oxygen enriched. However, the same fire ignition risks remain at these percentages, and no additional ignition risk is present. A severe fire hazard is present if the candles are mishandled. These candles are designed to be used in situations where there is need for oxygen immediately, and therefore worth the risk. That's just us writing like a documentation and directions of use for this. The candles are worth using if in fucking dire need.
Yeah, I've invented this for an emergency. When should I use it? Well, it's best to use in emergencies.
Yeah, it's best to use in emergencies. Then it's worth the risk of possibly burning down whatever you're doing and giving yourself oxygen poisoning by breathing in far too much, far too quickly.
Yeah, man.
Say that.
Yeah. Stefan, plants definitely work better when you don't burn them.
Plants do work better when you don't burn them.
I mean,
put that on a t-shirt.
That should be on a t-shirt, but I'm also looking at my bonsai and he's looking very depressed at the thought.
Bennett, do it!
I can't, I'm proud of him. He's hanging in there. He's getting used to the desert conditions of my room.
Do it.
By bonsai tree, do you mean the cactus?
No, I've legitimately got a bonsai tree next to the cactus. The cactus and the bonsai tree. The cacti and the bonsai tree are about a foot away from each other. They're both surviving, but I get the feel neither of them at peak. What, the bonsai and the cactus tree?
No, Kyle, the cactus and the bonsai, not the bonsai and the cactus tree, as you just said.
Cactus.
I said cactus, you dick.
It's still not a cactus tree.
You said cactus.
I mean, it could be a cactus tree. You can get cactus trees, can't you?
No, I mean, you
You
can
get
get cactus that grow
cactus.
big enough to look like a tree, I guess.
Exactly. I mean, when
It's
does
not a
it?
cactus tree.
Okay, what defines a tree then? Because to me, a tree is just a
Oh
plant
God,
that grows long enough to the point where it's possibly the
this
height
is
of a human.
Kyle,
this is going to be
Google
this is going to be like the
or
hot dog
something
and the
similar.
Google the definition of a tree.
I'm googling the definition of a tree because I think a tall cacti can be defined as a tree. It bears fruit. It
No,
sheds.
it doesn't bear fruit.
God, this is good.
It,
This is good.
cacti bear fruit. There are cacti that bear fruit.
Oh, they bear
This is going to
flowers.
be this is going to be like the hot dog taco sandwich argument from last week.
Dog taco sandwich. Combine
If the
everything
hot dogs
for
are
one.
Prickly pears. Opuntia, commonly called prickly pear or pear cactus. Cactus.
cactus.
Yes.
Cactus.
Is a genus
Why
of
did you get
flowering
German?
plants in the cactus family. Prickly pears, also known as tuna, sabra, nopal, from the Nahutal word nopali for the pads, or nozzle, from the Nahutal word noctul for the fruit or paddle cactus. It's legitimately a cacti that gets little knobbles on the top, and they're the fruits.
Kyle,
Yes.
what?
Speak English.
I did speak English.
Jordan, that's racist.
Did I speak English?
In the way that I can't understand.
Oh, for God's sake.
Right, apparently, a tree is
Kyle,
a
I'm
wooden
not unpacking
structure.
this one.
Apparently, the American or
That
verb
doesn't
of
count.
tree is a wooden structure
Stefan,
or part of a structure.
we're being positive.
What? Whoa. A tree is a wooden structure according to Americans.
A wooden structure or a part of a structure.
Alright, so most American houses are made of wood. Does that mean they all live in trees?
Apparently so. They all
This
live in
is how
tree houses.
fucking stupid. I'm not going there. I'm not going to get annoyed.
So does that mean when I play cricket, I'm swinging a tree?
You're throwing a tree at a tree, and you're also swinging a tree at the tree to
Yeah.
protect
Hey!
4 small trees.
Yeah. Apparently, the noun is a woody perennial plant, typically having a single stem or trunk growing to a considerable height and bearing lateral branches at some distance from the ground.
And
So
now,
it needs to be
uh,
a stick that goes up to a decent height and then has sticks coming out of it. Which I think some cacti can do. I mean, some of the cacti, like the traditional cartoon cacti, is one chunk in the middle and then it's got 2 branches coming out. So that could be a tree under some definitions.
a
I
violent
mean,
tree.
technically.
It is an angry tree. It is a very angry tree.
It is a tree of death.
It is a prick tree.
Kyle,
It must be
Wow.
American.
don't be nasty to the trees.
The trees will come back and hurt you.
The trees will haunt you. The trees know where you live.
I'm pretty sure this tree is already haunting me and is where I live. This tree is communicating with all the other trees.
Did you just say I'm pretty sure this tree is where I live?
No, this tree is conspiring against me. This tree is haunting me and knows where I live.
So that tree is a cat. It's the cat of the tree family.
What?
Because
Do
you said it's
cats
plotting to
haunt
kill you.
people? Oh, plotting to kill us.
Yes.
Cats definitely.
In which case, everything's a cat. I'm pretty sure everything's plotting to kill me.
You're a cat.
I'm plotting to kill me.
You always plot to kill somebody.
I have another tree thing, okay? And it's to do with oaks, probably the most commonly known tree in the world. Apparently, they can talk with each other and collectively decide not to make acorns for an entire year to try and
Yeah, they
starve
do
as many
that, man.
squirrels as they can.
Yeah.
So next year's
Yes.
acorns will have a higher chance of turning into trees. The most aggressive tree in the world. I shall starve an entire species so that I have a chance of growing.
That is how oaks, the mighty oak. That's why. It's not because they're big, it's because they fuck things up.
And they're the oldest trees, aren't they? In known history.
No.
I just love the fact that in the natural world, the plants sit there, realize that animals are eating their seeds, and go, "No, fuck you! I'm going to starve you so that next year they can grow."
Plants are slowly taking over.
They are indeed.
That's because they work better when they're not on fire.
Well, that's the ones in Australia, Frig.
Holy shit, Stefan has a camera.
Not all of Australia's on fire, Jordan.
Only half of it.
Not
At
most
any
of it.
one time. What is going on with your background? It's picking up something to your right.
Did.
It looks like a llama plushie or something.
A llama?
Yeah, like to your left. Like turn it left again. Right, if you turn it quick enough, whatever that white thing is next to you, if you turn it quick enough, it looks like a some sort of plushie, but like a llama or a camel or something when you turn it quick enough, because it's got the weird mouth nose thing and the eye up here, and you know, it makes sense in my head.
What kind of deformed ass camels are you seeing?
Look,
Kyle, everything in
eye
your
up
head
here.
makes sense to you.
I said eye up here. Look,
That's where eyes are.
Okay, look, I may not be the most awake at the current moment in time.
Yeah.
Okay, give me some slack.
No.
No, I can't expect slack from you guys, can I?
No.
Nope.
Right, I'm gonna right, Stefan.
No.
Do you have issues waking up with alarms?
I have issues waking up before my alarm goes off.
Right, Jordan, do you have issues waking up with alarms?
No, because I always wake up before my alarm goes off.
How the fuck do you guys do that? I always wake up after the alarm's gone off. Twice.
Because I set my alarm to get up for work at 7 a.m. and the past 3 nights I've woke up before 6. And I don't set an alarm so I can have a lie in, and I can't remember the last time I woke up after 9.
The longest I've lain is 8 o'clock.
I fucking wish I set an alarm on a weekend for 11 o'clock so that I can get up and do stuff, and I'll still sleep through it and wake up at 1.
You son of a bitch.
Honestly, I go into hibernation on the weekend. I might as well just hibernate.
I usually wake up about 10-15 minutes before my alarm's about to go off.
Look at these.
How can you be tired?
I need to hibernate. After a week waking up early, I have to hibernate on the weekend to recover.
No, you don't.
I do. That's how my brain works. It doesn't let me do anything. I need to hibernate.
Yeah, you're brilliant. It's just you.
Anyway, I brought it up not just because I'm tired and my eyes feel like they're absolutely burning like hell right now.
Bless you.
Oh, bless me, little cotton sock. Yeah, fuck you both.
I didn't say anything.
Apparently,
Yeah, fuck you, Jordan.
I don't know. Just fuck you both. Just collectively. I know you're gonna say something at some point, so
I was thinking it, but that's not the point.
Exactly. But yeah, so apparently I don't know.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know if this is true. I don't know if this is made up. I
What
don't know if this has been proven. But apparently, one of the ways that people used to have alarms without having an electronic alarm and cuckoo clocks and all that sort of shit was that they used to put nails in a candle and burn the candle.
Yeah, so then when the candle burns past, the candle would burn and there would be marks on it when you buy it at hour increments. And then you'd put a candle in. So say you wanted to wake up at 6 a.m. and you went to sleep at midnight. You'd put a nail in the candle at the 6th mark down, and it would take 6 hours to burn there. And when it burned through that bit, the nail would fall and hit the plate, and it would be a ting, and it would wake you up.
How light of a sleeper was it?
Now you see, this is the thing, right? 2 things about this. One, the fact that they could accurately tell, like, this is how long the candle's gonna burn. That amazes me. Like, I love that sort of thing. The fact that candle makers can go, right, I've got a candle of this big. I know that this is the hour mark for each hour. Here you go. That is amazing craftsmanship to me. But also the fact of, how light of a sleeper must they be, or how heavy were the nails, or like, were the nails hollow, or was there something to make the noise louder? Because I don't think a nail hitting a bit of metal and just tinging off it would wake me up.
Well, apparently it woke.
But on the same thing, I'm pretty sure if there was a candle burning in my room, my brain wouldn't let me sleep purely because it knows that it may set fire to the room. And I would be able to smell it.
You're not. They didn't have many soft furnishings there then.
And
They
also, basically, that
didn't,
was our
but
only
a
source
lot of
of
things were
light
made
when
of
did it at
wood.
night time.
A lot of things were made of wood, and it's a candle, so it emits light.
Yeah.
And it also smells of burn.
It does smell burny, but that's not the point.
They didn't
I
really
just
care
think,
back then.
I just think those three things would have kept me awake. Just being able to smell something burning, and being able to see this flicker of light. Like, if it's a constant light, it's not too bad, or if it's in some sort of rhythm, not too bad. But if it's just a random flicker, that really annoys me when I'm trying to sleep.
No, I'm fine. Honestly, I could fall asleep with anything.
I can usually fall asleep quite well with anything, but for some reason, just flickering lights. I'm sure it's a crossover with my epilepsy or some shit, but flickering lights just pisses off. I just can't deal with it. Did you have anything prepared for this week, Stephen? Because I know that you had a few bits and pieces, bits and bobs.
Do you want us to tell you a flood?
Tell me a story about a flood.
I'll
Can
find
we
the
throw
story about
can
it.
we throw bankers and politicians into sacks of snakes and then chuck them into the flood?
Yes.
Okay, good. Then tell me a story of the flood.
Right. This is a story.
About Balamori.
Do you want to guess what it's about?
What's the story in Balamori? Wouldn't you like
It's
to
not.
know?
It's not about Balmorrie. It's also not about the food order that I just put in before.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Right. This is a story about. Do you want to guess what it's about?
This is a story all about how my life got flipped turned upside down. Sorry. You're making
Right.
it too easy, man.
I'm trying. I said, do you want to guess what it's about? Right. So during
A
a
village
flood.
flooded.
You said it was about a flood. Is this
Yes.
a flood to do with the Thames?
No, it's Mississippi.
The Mississippi.
Right. Are you ready? Are you ready?
I am ready. I am strapped in. I am ready.
During flooding on the Mississippi River in 1993, right, the Scots,
Yes.
along with several other residents living in and around Quincy and spent much of mid-July reinforced in the West Quincy levee. Now, a levee is like a temporary flood
Barrier.
blocker, if you like, yeah.
Yeah.
Flood defence. By July 16th, the river had stopped rising and had actually even dropped about 48 centimetres, which is about 1.5 foot below the levee. But then one night randomly, the unexpectedly failed when the river burst through its main stem.
Yeah.
There was a resultant flood. Should I do? I'll miss some details out. So, no, but many people on the Missouri side of the river had to drive 80 miles to either St. Louis or Burlington, Iowa, to fly or take a ferry to get across the river for several weeks after the waters receded. Right? One major bridge, the Bayview Bridge, was out of service for 71 days. Several businesses in West Quincy were also destroyed, most of which have never returned. Reporter Michelle McCormack of WGEM-TV and the NBC affiliate in Quincy was told by two DOT workers that at the edge of the bridge there was a man standing close by, and he was first. She walked up to him, and Scott volunteered to do a live interview with him, and photographer Rick Junkerman. So this is James Scott, or James Robert Scott. Right?
Okay.
Okie dokie.
Scott said that he had seen a weak spot in the levee and tried to put more sandbags along it. He then said he went for a drink, only to come back and discover that the levee had actually let go. He then helped the Coast Guard load boats into the floodwaters, and in a second interview with him at his home, he told a similar story. Okay?
Yeah.
Oh, happy with that.
Yep.
Is this the story of he reinforced it, got pissed, went back and removed all of his reinforcements, or something?
Not quite.
Because that's
Scott's
kind of what I'm expecting.
Scott's account of the flood sounded suspicious to Neil Baker, as Quincy Police Department. Baker was familiar with Scott. He had arrested Scott in 1982 and 1988 for arsons while he was a patrolman. For one thing, Baker noticed that Scott looked remarkably clean to have been working on a levee all day. He also had trouble recalling simple details about working on the levee. Baker also noticed that Scott was not wet, which you would expect him to have been wet. Missouri authorities were also suspicious. The levee had failed at one of its strongest points, and that area had been inspected only 2 hours earlier. They became even more suspicious when they found out about Scott's extensive criminal record, including the arsons. Adams County, Illinois Sheriff deputies questioned him a week after the flood, and he was unable to keep his story straight. Right. Okay.
Okay, so yeah, I'm getting yeah.
So what are you thinking at this point?
That he sabotaged it.
I'm thinking that he sabotaged it or he did it drunkenly, but I'm also thinking that everybody's got their focus on him and it was actually someone else, like his brother or something.
So I'm going to ask you to a story here, Kyle. What do you think?
Okay, I'm gonna say that everybody thinks it's him, and the reason he gets his details so mixed up and stuff is because he wasn't actually there. Someone else was doing his work, and they're the ones that fucked it up.
Right. Jordan,
I'm going with the sabotage. He did the
why
sabotage.
why would he sabotage it?
He's criminal anyways, so
God damn it, Jordan.
I'm that nice.
Oh,
On October the 1st, Quincy arrested Quincy on unrelated burglary charge. During questioning, he
Yes.
admitted to pulling 4 sandbags from one portion of the levee and moving them into a trouble spot he had claimed to have seen. He told police, "My town was in trouble. The folks in Quincy and in West Quincy were about to lose everything. That's why I went down to that levee. I had no plans to hurt anyone or anything. They needed help, so I helped." While he denied any intent to cause harm, he said, "I didn't mean to cause a problem, but I did, and now I'm up shit creek." He was later released after an hour and a half. However, he was convicted of burglary in January 1994 and sentenced to 10 years in prison.
so the dude legitimately tried to help people, but in doing so weakened one of the links, thinking it would be fine because it was one of the strongest parts, and ended up causing the flood.
Okay. No.
That's what that sounded like.
That's what it is at the moment.
Okay.
Well, authorities on both sides of the river joined federal authorities to investigate the case. Their investigation led to Joe Flax, an old friend of Scott's. Authorities that Scott had told him he had broken the levee so he could strand his wife Susie on the Missouri side of the river. Susie worked as a truck stop in Taylor, Missouri. As the story went, Scott wanted to be free to party, fish, and have an affair. Investigators subsequently found other witnesses who said Scott had boasted about breaking the levee at a party he had after the flood. Based on the evidence, Missouri for trial in November 1994. This guy flooded a whole fucking town so that he could fish and get his leg over and strand his wife. But this, it gets better, right? So he's right. Okay. Scott was tried under the 1999 Missouri law that made it a crime to be intentionally cause a catastrophe. Codified Section 5.070 of the Missouri Revised Statuses defined a catastrophe as a death or serious physical injury to 10 or more people or substantial damage to 5 or more buildings or inhabitable structures, or substantial damage to vital public facilities, which seriously impairs its usefulness or operation. Due to publicity, the trial took place in Kirksville, 68 miles west of Quincy. Prosecutors and investigators believe that Scott either removed or cut the plastic sheets covering the levee, then burrowed through the sand until the water rushed in. The defense rested largely on two soil experts who testified that there was strong enough evidence that the levee failed due to natural causes. David Hammer of the University of Missouri said there had been something like 11 or 12 levee failures upriver from West Quincy, and that Charles Morris of the University of Missouri Rolla said that last-minute decision to bring the bulldozers up the shore to the levee actually weakened its structural integrity. The prosecution retained numerous witnesses claiming to have heard Scott bragging about breaking the levee and pointed to the inconsistencies in his story. After a 3-day trial, the jury deliberated for 4 hours and then convicted Scott of causing a catastrophe. A month later, he was sentenced to 10 years to life in prison to run consecutively with his sentence. He appealed in '97, and basically tried to get a conviction. It didn't work. He's up for parole in 2023. But some of the key details of the story, right? He was trying to have an affair, so he broke the river, right? What he's in prison for, and is on his criminal record right now, as he can't apply till next year, is, and I
causing
quote,
catastrophe.
causing a catastrophe.
But honestly,
Right.
that is fucking bragging rights. If you're going to prison for anything, you want it to be something stupid like causing a catastrophe.
But the best way, give us a second.
Causing a natural disaster.
I just want to quickly Google this and
I'll do it.
right. Okay.
If I
So-
ever go to prison, that's the type of thing I want to go to prison for. Causing a catastrophe, or just something that sounds so typically British or stupid.
Not doing human experiments.
I mean, that too. Who says I'm not
Yeah.
doing them now?
Yeah, it's us.
Right, here we go. Right, so found. Right, so do you want to know what the damage was done? What damage was done? So he done this so he could have fishing parties and shit.
Yep.
Right. The flood that night, right? So when a flood inundated 14,000 acres or 57 square kilometers on the Missouri side of the river. In one incident, a barge was sucked into the hole in the levee and slammed into a gas station, causing a fire. It was bridges in the area and the only links across the river for 200 miles. No one was killed, but many people on the Missouri side of the river had to drive 80 miles to get round. The major bridge there that didn't get washed out was out of service for 71 days. Several businesses in West Quincy were destroyed, most of which have never returned. And the cost was calculated 10 years after in 2004, estimated to have cost approximately $20 billion worth of damage. This guy caused $20 billion worth of damage. He caused a fire in a petrol station by hitting it with a barge.
He caused a fire in a petrol station by hitting it with a barge during a flood.
During a flood that he caused that wiped out a bridge in 200 miles bar one that was out of service for 71 days. Why? So he could have a party and go fishing without his wife nagging him. The interesting, you go on Wikipedia, right?
The most valuable
found-
resource known to man.
Well, also the funniest at times because this is Scott. Born James Robert Scott, November 20th, 1969, age 52. Criminal status, imprisoned at Jefferson City Correctional, earliest possible release 2023. Spouse, Susie Scott, in brackets, divorced. Yeah, I wonder why.
Yeah. I would be amazed if they weren't divorced.
Yeah, your criminal charge causing a catastrophe 20 years to life. So his case was overturned in 1997, but then reinstated in 1998.
So it only took them a year.
Yeah, it just took me a year.
I mean, that's not bad. That's not bad going. Causing a catastrophe just sounds like such a made-up prosecution, though.
It does. But it is funny. Imagine what you're in for causing a catastrophe. How long are you here? At least 20 years, possibly live. The fuck did you cause $20 billion worth of damage so I could have a fishing weekend by myself? It was just divorced us anyway, so it was pointless.
That is one expensive fishing trip. Fucking hell, man. I love it. Jordan, do you have any topics or anything?
No.
Okay, then I am going to do a light-hearted one to finish us up.
Please, you said up and not off.
There is a man called Emmett who is...
The Lego Master.
I don't know anything about that.
Oh, it just reminds us of the crazy old man of Red Dead.
It's Emmett who has worked in the San Francisco Columbarium for 26 years and is still working there. and he has spent those 26 years restoring it. And we don't mean with a team, we mean him alone, paintbrush, tools, restoring it slowly but surely each and every day.
Slow down.
Yes.
I felt like it took 26 years.
It's took 26 years of work for it to be able to be open to the public and have people visit it and things, visit the urns and all that sort of thing. With some people deciding to be in silly contraptions and silly things, and others deciding to be in more traditional and elaborate ones. Some of the rooms still bear their original names with the Greek words for constellations and winds. And it's one of the very few places left that can legally house human remains. And apparently, he likes to call them apartments instead of saying that it's like a grave or anything like that. He calls them apartments because it makes it sound a little bit happy. It's your after death apartment. But Emmett already has his own apartment reserved, and his urn is going to be a paint bucket.
Why not?
What?
But I think Emmett needs a lot more recognition for the work he's done. His name's Emmett Watson, and in 1987, the new owners hired him to restore the ruined building. Now 58 years old, Emmett still remembers the first time he set foot in it at the age of 32. He says it scared the crap out of him. He walked in and saw 2 raccoons, pigeons, and mushrooms growing out of all the walls, and the floors were all slimy and green.
Good going.
So he has single-handedly restored a landmark which can house human remains, which is now becoming more popular with people housing human remains. And he's spent all that time doing it single-handedly. So I just want to say thank you, Emmett, for bringing back a beautiful piece of history. A beautiful piece of history. Yes, I know. Shut
Piece of
up.
history.
A beautiful piece of history, because I love architecture and all that sort of thing, and I think it is a fantastic job. So thank you.
That is a good job. Somebody could have helped them though.
Somebody could have. I wish somebody would have.
You think that in 26 years someone would have done some fundraisers to get some contractors to do it in a few months?
Nah.
Yeah.
Well.
Kyle,
Yes,
it's time.
it is time.
Do your thing.
I've got to double check them all here because I'm sure the Twitter one's missing.
We still do have Twitter.
The Twitter one is missing. Is Twitter just at taken off air? I'm assuming it is
Yes.
because everything's taken off air. Right.
Right.
Okay.
Wait there.
Right.
Tell us when you're ready. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/takeenoff-air. Find us at TikTok at takeenoff-air. Want to wear our merch? Find us at takeenoff-air.com/shop. The shop's currently closed. Sorry. Find us on twitch.tv/takeenoff-air. Find us on Spotify. Just search for Taken Off Air Podcast. You'll find one. Buy me a coffee at .com/takeenoff-air to buy us a coffee or a cup of tea for me. Join us on Reddit with /r/takeenoff-air. You can support us on Acast with support.acast.com/takeenoff-air. You can join us next week at takeenoff-air.com/live or all the good places. And Twitter at Taken Off Air. You can find us at all the good places. We have been your hosts, Kyle, Stefan, and Jordan. Good night.
38 seconds.
I need to get a script. I'm going to have to write up a script of what it should be so that I follow the same script every time, so it's an accurate timing, because I change it every time.
I know. Well, maybe you'll find more efficient ways to do it. Thank you, everybody, for listening, and we'll see you next week. And remember, plants work better if you don't burn them.
Yes, it has been a pleasure. I am going to go and water my bonsai to keep it happy.
Not with fire.
Not with fire.
Don't kill it.
Thank you very much for listening. It has been a pleasure. And we'll see you all next time.
Bye.
Bye.